श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्त्वनिवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अहमस्मि सदा भामि कदाचित् नाहमप्रियः ब्रह्मैव अहम् अतः सिद्धं सच्चिदानन्दलक्षणम्। So with today's class, which is number 13, I mislabeled it in the software. I'll ask Raj to correct it. So this is number 13 of this series, which is called the Introduction, an Advanced Introduction to Vedanta. So what I thought we would do with these classes that we just are finishing today is to provide a door, a passage into a wider, more complete, more comprehensive introduction to Vedanta in the form of Gaudapadacharya, Karika, Gaudapadacharya's Karika, which will begin in 2 weeks from today. So we will, excuse me, we will, so this was intended to as a kind of like a primer for those advanced classes that are going to come. And so this was summarized by the very beautiful verse from Advaita Makaranda, Ahamasmi Sadabhami, that the one that we just chanted. And so the essence of this was the topic of these 13 classes. So this was captured by two important chapters from this book by Swami Akhandananda, which is called Sadhana and Brahma Anubhuti. And there are many chapters of this, but in reading it and also following the advice of I think one of the people that introduced this book was that these two chapters are really meant for advanced thinking. And so I thought that we would take a quick look into that. But this whole topic is going to be expanded in this new course that we'll be starting, which I've been talking to you about, and I'm almost ready to announce it. We will have a preliminary introduction to that course on the 23rd, 2 weeks from today. And then the main course will start the following week on the 30th. So this will be also available through the Arshavidya Gurukulam website, and we will be announcing it to all of the US-based students if they are interested. But certainly I think for those of you that have been attending my previous classes, current classes, will gain a lot from it. And if you attended these 13 classes, then this would give you a head start into a more comprehensive review of Vedanta. And I'm calling that new set of classes, long-term classes, I don't know how long it will be. It will be for quite a while, as a course in Vedanta. Even though it is based on Mandukya Upanishad, but we should not look upon it as simply a reading of this Upanishad, only 12 verses in it. It's a very small Upanishad, along with Kena Upanishad and Ishavasya. Those three are the smallest ones. So it should not be seen as simply a rereading of the Mandukya. In fact, it follows the teaching of Gaudapadacharya in a comprehensive course of Vedanta. And certainly he refers to Mandukya quite a bit, but it is not limited to that. So this is going to be very exciting. I'm very, very, very happy to embark into it. I've been studying it a lot, and I'll tell you more about it in the introductory class 2 weeks from today. So as you know, there will be no class next week. We will take a gap, and then we will restart it with this new course. So, so in the last few classes, excuse me a second. I think I'm going to get the lozenges, which I didn't bring with me. Let me go bring it. Excuse me for a second. You could take a small break. So the last few classes that we've been holding, maybe, I don't remember exactly how many, maybe 6, 7 out of the 13, was based on this chapter by Swami Akhandananda, which said, Apaurusheyata ka abhipraya. This is almost Sanskrit, but it's in Hindi. But abhipraya means the meaning, what is the essence of apaurusheyata. So apaurusheyata means what is the meaning of our life, the component of the life. That's probably the better way to say it. The component of our life which is not done by human beings or by any being, but let's say human beings. Paurusheya means the one, Purushajanyaha, one which is generated. Interesting, the word generation and janya sound about the same. So one which is not made by human beings is called apaurushaya. And as you know, Vedas is the essence of apaurusheyata. And when we introduced this topic, if you go back to those classes, you will see that the meaning of the word Upanishad or Vedas is exactly what this is, apaurusheyata, which is the very Swarupa of Paramatma, of Parameshwara. It's a very Swarupa. Apaurusheyata means that it is not human being generated. So this is what we had started on. So here we've been taking various topics to examine the truth of this. So let's continue with that. It's actually very interesting to begin this way. I wasn't planning to, but just talking about Parameshwara. So when you examine Parameshwara, the first thing that comes to mind is the topic of parokshata and aparokshata. Paroksha meanings away from us, me. You being the subject, something which is not near you. That's our experience. You don't see Ishvara anywhere. So we assume that Ishvara is paroksha. But here in this analysis, we will see that this question of parokshata and aparokshata is not valid. It doesn't apply, has no relevance to the jnanam that we have been talking about. Jnanam means the self, the sakshi, the atma. So the parokshata and aparokshata doesn't apply to the atma. This is the next topic. So if you want to talk it as a Sanskrit title, which we have been giving to all of these subtopics, you can say Jnanasya, this is in Sanskrit, of the Jnanam. Jnanasya paroksha aparokshata bheda anupapanna. Jnanasya paroksha aparokshata bheda. the difference between them is anupapanna, is not valid. Even the topic is not valid. Topic is valid, but the truth of the topic is not valid. How? So, and also in this explanation, Swami Akhandananda also brings in, along with parokshata and aparokshata, yathartha ayathartha. Yathartha and ayathartha. Yathartha means the truth as it is, and ayathartha means truth as it appears but it is not. There's a distinction. So in the very classical example of the rope and snake, the vision of the rope, once the adequate light is provided, is yathartha. And a feeling that this is something different from a rope is ayathartha. So now, having defined those two terms, we can say that for the purpose of this analysis, both parokshata and aparokshata, as well as yatharthata and ayatharthata, anupapanna jnanasya. So here, let us take an example of a dream elephant. You dreamt an elephant. Let's say, I'm just taking the exact meaning. I mean, you can do it for anything. He said hathi. So hathi means an elephant in Hindi. So if you look at a dream elephant, the question is the dream elephant false? And we can say yes, it is false. For also all those rules that determine falsity or not falsity, that it has to be there, it should persist, it can be verified, it has pramana, is truth, and one which fails the test of all of that is the non-truth. So the dream elephant is very pratibhasika, it is very individualistic, nobody else sees it, and even the person who sees it doesn't see it for too long. All those kinds of rules that we can apply and then determine that the dream elephant is false. Okay? Now, here, the seeing of the dream elephant is not false. I mean, you can make up and say, you know, last night I saw an elephant, when you actually never saw an elephant in the dream. That would be, the seeing of the elephant is also false. But here, as it happens in our cases, we have various aspects of the dream. And, but it doesn't last. So the seeing of the elephant is not false, but the elephant itself is false. This is the very nature of Ishvara's creation. As we will see it in much more detail in the Karika, Mandukya Karika, that this is the essence of the creation, that it appears to be. You cannot say it's false, but essentially it is false. Why? Because there is something upon which the falsity is superimposed. So this is an important thing to see. So the dream elephant, The seeing of the dream elephant, yeah, that's better. The seeing of the dream elephant, or you can even say the dream elephant, both of them, cannot be possible unless the dreamer is there. So they are superimposed upon the dreamer. They're superimposed upon really on the jnanam, on the very conscious entity that is jnanam. So therefore, both the presence and the absence of the dream elephant are superimposed upon the jnanam. So whether they are there or not there, jnanam is still jnanam. Doesn't make any difference. So therefore we can say that the yatharthata and ayatharthata, the presence or the absence of the dream, has no relevance to the jnana. It has a relevance to a dreamer. But the jnanam that backs the dreamer, it does not touch. It does not touch. So this topic will be continued on, the very essence of this topic, not just this topic, but the very essence of these various topics. The all essence remains the same. We can apply the same thing for parokshata and aparokshata. So let me switch over to parokshata and aparokshata. How? When you say something is paroksha, saying that, Los Angeles, let's say, it is not close to me. It's away from me. And for people in India, you can pick out some kind of a town, Bhubaneswara, in hoping that there's nobody in Bhubaneswara listening, is away from you. Because you may be in Hyderabad, you may be in Chennai, you may be in New Delhi. I hope some of you are there, but I don't know. So Bhubaneswara and Los Angeles are paroksha. And then you can say that the town that you are in, or your feelings towards it, your thoughts are aparoksha, because there is a slight distinction between pratyaksha and aparoksha. So let's disregard that for now. So all I'm saying is something which is far and something which is near. Parokshata and aparokshata. Now let us see the relevance to jnanam. So here, parokshata is even more revealing. The analysis of parokshata is even more revealing to point out that it can never be away from the jnanam. How? So when you say something is paroksha, where is that jnanam? It is very close to you, because you have concluded, you have told me. I ask you, are you close to Los Angeles or Bhubaneswara? And you say, no, I'm not. They're far. How do you know? Because I know. I can see. I can see, I close my eyes and I'm telling you the truth. That they are not close to me. That means the validation. Whether something is close or not close is very close. So parokshata and aparokshata also. Jnanam remains the same. You can say something is very far, and farness and nearness is with respect to the body, the person, the jiva. Not the real person, but the assumed person. So, parokshata and aparokshata are very relevant, upapannaha, for jivatvam. But for jnanam, it is anupapanna. Because both far and near are near. You see? The farness is also validated by you, by the jnanam. Very near. In fact, you can't even say, you cannot be near yourself. You are yourself. This is how the meaning of aparokshata is. So even parokshata is aparokshata. And aparokshata is already aparokshata. So there is no relevance. This bheda, this difference between far and near does not apply to jnana. This is the topic. Okay. Hope you understand. Okay, next topic is jnanam sarvatha abadhyaha. Jnanam sarvatha. Sarvatha means in all possible ways. Is abadhya, cannot be negated. Jnanam cannot be negated in any possible way. That is the true definition of Satyam. As you know, Trikalepi abadhyam. That's the only thing that is abadhyam, is jnanam, which is you. Jnanam sarvatha abadhyam. So another way of saying that is, there is no opponent that can negate jnana. It does not have an opponent. Jnanasya pratiyogi nasti. Jnanasya pratiyogitvam, jnanasya pratiyogitvam anupapanna. It doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. So one can object here right away when we make that kind of a tall statement. Somebody can say, my thought that I'm ignorant, when I say I'm ignorant, that negates jnanam. So the ignorance is the pratiyogi of jnanam? Ajnanam jnanasya pratiyogit eva. This is the objection. This is the question. This is the doubt. Really more of a doubt rather than objection. Then we ask, how do you know that you're ignorant of yourself, jnanam? So the person will ask, what do you mean? Don't ask me such questions. I'm telling you I don't know. In fact, this is why I'm searching. This is why I'm attending your class. This is why I'm reading all these things. What do you mean? I'm ignorant. So do not tell me that ignorance is not a pratiyogi to knowledge. Of course it is. Isn't it obvious? So we say, well, wait, don't raise your voice. Let's discuss this. Let us go over this. How do you know you are ignorant? Oh, what do you mean? I'm telling you I'm ignorant. I know you're telling me you're ignorant, but how did you conclude that you're ignorant? So you say, well, I know I'm ignorant. Okay. You know you're ignorant. So that means you have knowledge. Yeah. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that you are jnanam, which is never negated. Even if when you think you are not there, you are there. Even when you think you don't know, you know. And in the case of Ananda, even when you think that you are not Ananda, you are Ananda. That requires a few more steps to prove. But as far as Asti and Bhati, it's very clear that there is no abhadyatvam for jnana. Why? Because you can say, it's interesting, you can say when you say aham ajnanam, so we ask you, is this knowledge that I am ignorant, is it jnatam or ajnatam? The conclusion that I am not jnanam, is it known or is it not known? So there's another way to look at it, known and not known. Known means sasakshika. I'm just using some Sanskrit words. Sasakshita is sasakshika. Sasakshika means it is accompanied by a person. It is validated by a person, sasakshika. So, jnata means known. It is known. What are we talking about? The fact that I am ignorant. Is that jnata or ajnata? Sasakshika or nirsakshika? This is the question. Both of them can be clubbed together. The Jnata and Sasakshika, Ajnata, Nirsakshika. Those can be, they're two sides of the same coin. So there we ask you this question, which of these is true? Suppose you say Ajnatam, I don't know, and it does not have any Sakshi. The conclusion that I am ignorance, this is what we're talking about. The conclusion that I am ignorant, it is not known. This is a big issue because that means there is no pramana for ajnatata. There is no pramana. You can just assume it. I am assuming. This is called kalpita. This is, by the way, is a very big topic because it turns out that my entire estimation of the world is without pramana. It is kalpita. Kalpita means without pramana. I just assume it is there. This is the problem that we are going to face in our life. So this is what is called avicharita siddham dvaitam. Dvaita means Dvaitam means that there is somebody other than me. There is a world outside of me. There's me and there's a world. This is called Dvaitam. So this bheda between aham and idam is kalpitam. So what we are talking about, the ajnanam, is really just a very essence of this whole thing. So this is a very big thing, really. We'll talk more about this. That kalpana, kalpita, one which is just imagined, is different from truth. You can imagine anything you want to, as we do in our dreams. But it doesn't show anything. So therefore, going back to, let's follow that analysis very carefully. We asked, your conclusion that you are ajnanam, is it ajnata or jnata? Not jnata, sorry. Ajnata, singular, ajnata or jnata. Not known or known. So this is the vikalpa that we do in the analysis. So if you say ajnata, then we say ajnata things are only kalpita because there is no pramanam. It is also nirsakshika. There is nobody that saw it. So there is no pramanam. See, even the relative pramanam in the life will work if somebody says, yes, I saw it. My eyes are a pramanam, or some word of a apta purusha is also a pramanam. That can be done. But here, you say, no, I think I think there's no basis for it, but I think so. Then we cannot accept it. Then the person says, no, I'm not ajnata, I really didn't mean it that way. If you attack me like that you are attacking my pramanatvam. You're thinking, you're saying that I just make things up and so on. Okay, no, I don't make things. I'm a good person. I'm a solid person. My ajnatam, the fact that I am ajnanam, that's the original question. Let's not forget. That is that I am ignorant. Aham ajnanaha. That conclusion is jnata, is known. Then we go back to the same thing. If it is jnata, that means it is validated by your jnana. Validated by your jnana. Validated by your jnana means what? What does that mean? That means your jnanam is intact. Your jnanam is intact. Means that ajnanam is a superimposition. Just like we saw that the dream elephant was a superimposition, even the conclusion that I am ignorant does not touch jnanam, knowledge. Why not? Because jnanam is akhandaha. Khanda rahita. Khanda means gaps. No, there's no gaps in jnanam. Why is there no gaps in jnanam? We've already proven it. That the ajnanam also is validated by jnanam. So jnanam is there even in the conclusion that I am ignorant. So therefore we can say that there is no pratiyogi towards jnanam. Jnanam sarvata abadhyaha iti siddham. It has no entity that dislodges it from its perch. Cannot do that. Asatyam cannot touch satyam. It can be superimposed. You can pretend, as is done in plays and movies. That's all possible. Pretension is all, which is good. In fact, the whole Srishti is based on pretension. That's all possible. But in reality, jnanam is abadhya, sarvata abadhya. All right, so I think we have taken care of that topic. Let's go to the next topic. Next topic is jnanam anirvachaniyaha. Jnanam anirvachaniyaha. So by anirvachaniya means nirvachanam na vidyate yasya. Nirvachanam yasya na vidyate. Nirvachanam, so you say, okay, you are asking me about anirvachanam, and now I'm saying where nirvachanam is not there. I still don't understand what is nirvachanam. So let's understand nirvachanam. Nirvachanam means, so I think I'm not positive about this, but this avyaya, upasarga, ni, here means nishchaya. Nishchaya means definitely. So nirvachanam means a definite statement about something. It's called nirvachanam. So when you either describe something or show something through your eyes or hear something very specific or smell something very specific, that would be called nirvachanam. Something very specific means something which is distinct. Which is distinct. It's called nirvachanam. You can see it, you can smell it, and it has a very distinct form to it. This is called nirvachanam. And this is what we all have in our life. We only deal with nirvachanam. We know what the objects are, we know what is in our refrigerator, we know what to buy, what to eat, the car, everything is nirvachaniya. Nirvachaniya means the one which is explicitly described or is describable. It's called nirvachaniya. But now comes jnanam. Jnanam does not fall in that category. It is nirvachaniyatvam na. It cannot be explicitly pointed out. This is a problem we have in understanding the Atma, because our minds are always searching for nirvachaniyatvam. I can understand topics and so on, but where is the Atma? You can even say, where is Ishvara? Where is you cannot exactly show where it is. Yes, we can, but not the way you think we are going to show you. Because it is not a separate vastu like a book. Atma is not like a book. Even though the book explains the Atma, that's a separate thing. But it is not nirvachaniya. Then what? That means it is not there, because things that are there must be nirvachaniya. So we say jnanam is neither viditam. Viditam means nirvachaniyatvam. It can be seen, identified, described, verified. This is what the science is trying to do. They say that something that has to be proven over and over again in a laboratory, then we can say, yes, there is a COVID virus. Yes, it looks like this, and we have seen it again and again, and yep, that's what it is. It is this particular type of a virus. But then you talk about the Atma, where do I do it? How do I look at it? Is it away on the moon, or is it on the microscope? Where do I do it? Can't do that. Why not? Because that means that it is not viditam. And what is not viditam must be aviditam. So here we make a distinction between nirvachaniyatvam and viditam. So I'll make that distinction a little bit more clear later. But now let's switch over to viditam and aviditam. So that means that it is not viditam. That means it must be aviditam, means not, not known means not knowable. Because if it was known as an entity, somebody must have seen it. So it is not viditam, it must be aviditam. So our Shastra says, jnanam is viditam, aviditam, adhi. It is neither Viditam nor Aviditam. This is a very important statement. Something which is different from Viditam and Aviditam means that it cannot be shown as a vastu in front of you, neither is it unknowable. In that sense, because it is you, without which there is nothing Viditam or Aviditam, in that sense you can say it is anirvachaniya. So anirvachaniyam here, normally we talk about anirvachaniyam for Maya. We talk about, this is a very interesting view of Jnanam. Normally we talk about mithya is anirvachaniyam. So sometimes even the words have to be properly understood from the context. So normally what we say is mithya is sat asat anirvachaniya. It's neither sat nor asat. So for example, a clay pot. So this, forget about the clay pot, look at this metal glass. So this glass, what is the vastu? This silver metal glass, is it true or is it untrue? You cannot say it is true because it can be broken. Nor is it untrue because I can see it. In fact, the very nature of the glass is that it is made out of metal. Metal is the truth of it. So relatively speaking, the metal nothing will happen even if I bend it or break it. Not break it easily, but bend it. So normally we talk about the mithyatvam of the clay pots or the ornaments of gold as anirvachaniya. Anirvachaniya means it's neither sat nor asat. Here, however, the usage of the word anirvachaniyam refers to viditam or aviditam. So the Atma is neither viditam nor unviditam, aviditam. So and then we can say one other thing, which is going to be a common theme. We are going to look at it again. This vilakshanatvam, this ability to be different from viditam or aviditam, can only be there in jnana. This way of looking at the anirvachaniyatvam means vilakshanatvam. Vilakshanatvam means separate from, away from. No, you tell me very, very, very clearly, is it viditam? No, it's not viditam. Then it must be aviditam. Clear, say it clearly. No, it's not aviditam. Then what? This is what is called vilakshanatvam, something which is different. That vilakshanatvam cannot be separate from jnana. That can only apply to jnana, isn't it? Because if it is not part of jnanam, then it will be viditam or aviditam. But if it is not either of them, then it must only apply to the self, the jnana. Beautiful point. Okay, there's several topics that we could have covered, but I sort of consolidated them into just one last one, which I will point out, and then I will wrap up because I don't have that much time for this class. This is a very interesting point, really. that Swamiji pointed out. He says, look, jnanam alone is indicated, what is called upalakshate. Upalakshanam means how is it, what is a lakshana? How is it uniquely defined? Upalakshate. Jnanam eva upalakshate as ahimsa, satya, dhyanam, upasanadi. All the sattva guna. It alone deserves to be called as all these beautiful, pleasant, peaceful ways of description. Satyam, dhyanam, upasanam, ahimsa, etc., etc. Not having any lobha, no anger. All of these beautiful things only apply to jnanam, to nobody else. It is unique to jnanam. Because kama, which means a passion for something, some kind of a hold, I gotta do this. Krodha, which as you know is an anger if we are not able to accomplish what we want to do. Lobha, greed. These kinds of mental vrittis, mental forms, these kinds of thoughts must be savishaya. See, this is an important thing to see. These are all, these kinds of vrittis, ghora vrittis, what is called ghora vritti, has to be savishaya. They must be accompanied by having an object. Because you can say, I really want. You really want what? No, I don't want anything particular, but I really want. Doesn't make any sense. In English, you can say, I really want, then describe what is it that you want. Similarly, you say, I am very angry. You can perhaps say, I'm very upset, but anger has to be directed at something. So it has to be savishaya. Lobha means, I wish I could do this. This has to be the savishaya. Opposite of that is nishkamata, akrodha, nirlobhata. They do not require a vishaya. You cannot say, I am so peaceful today. They don't even need to have a karana. They don't have no cause. Yeah, what a beautiful thing to see. It's how we should examine the very truth of the self. That to be happy is the very nature of Atma, the nature of Jnanam, quietness, peacefulness. And even in daily parlance, if somebody is very peaceful and so on, you cannot go out and say, why are you so peaceful? What's wrong? Or not forget about what's wrong, but why are you so peaceful? It's nice to see somebody sitting peacefully. But if somebody is angry, you'll say, why are you so angry? There must be something going on. See the distinction. It's a beautiful thing. So these vishaya hina vrittis, these avishaya vrittis are not seen to be different from the Pratyakatma, the Ashrayabhuta Jnanam. Doesn't require any Pratiyogi, doesn't require any Vishaya. That's the nature of the self, the Jnanam. Whereas also Ekata, all the other ones are Anekata, they're all different. The Ananda Swarupa, the peacefulness, the Ahimsa, the Satyam, the Upasaka is Eka. So now we can summarize in a very short order the various topics that we did not summarize, but just to give it another flavor to it. So this, all these topics that we did about the Apaurushaya Jnanam is Aparicheda Rupa Lakshana. That is not something which is limited. So in that sense, the words like jnana, which we have been using as the main one, or Atma, or Brahman, or Vishwa, are all synonyms. These are all synonyms. And so Swami Akhandananda actually has provided a list of Vedantic statements to verify this fact. For example, and I don't know, remember all the sources from where it is, Prajnanam Brahma, meaning Prajnanam, which we remember we started with Prajnanam and then we got rid of the pra and said Jnanam. Prajnanam is the same thing. Prajnanam aparichinna Brahma. Statement. I am Atma Brahman. This Atma is Brahman. Brahma eva idam varishtam. Sarvam yad ayam Atma. Whatever there is nothing but the Atma alone. Ahameva idam sarvam. I alone am everything. Pratibodha viditam matam, which we have taken up in more detail from Kena Upanishad. Meaning that whatever is known is due to jnana. Jnanam is present in all knowledges. No knowledge is possible without jnana. Sarvagatatvam, sarvatha abaditvam, jnanam. Kritsnaha pragyana ghava eva, sampurna pragyana galam alone. Vijnanam anandam brahma. Vijnanam, here just different epithets, Vijnanam, then Prajnanam or Jnanam, all the same, are the Brahman alone and is the same. Yat sakshat aparokshat brahma tattvamasi aham brahmasmi. So all these statements, Upanishadic statements, only point out to the truth and the uniqueness, the truth, the uniqueness, whatever you may call it, beauty of Jnanam, which is the form of Ishvara, which is also the form of the self. So that's why this Ahamasmi, I am, Aham Bhami, Aham Jnanam, Kadachit Naham Apriya. Never am I a subject of unhappiness. I may be a subject of unhappiness with respect to a mind or a body, but not on myself. Brahma eva aham iti atas siddham satchidananda lakshanam. So he says, I don't understand. These are exactly the same lakshana for Ishvara, for Brahman. And I have those lakshanas. So how can I be different from it? The Ishvara alone must be me. So this is a short segment that we covered as a prelude to a much more detailed, persuasive, analytical, systematic way of looking at it through the eyes of Adi Shankara's Paramaguru, Sri Gaudapadacharya. So that we will begin very shortly. So with that, I close the class today. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So I'm happy that you and I had a chance to go over these topics in the last 13, 14 weeks. Very happy about our getting together for that. What I've decided to do is that for the Karika Mandukya class, which will begin 2 weeks from today, I'd like to have a separate WhatsApp group. And number one. Number two, I'll give you more details about it. We're going to also have some Zoom sessions. In order for that, you need to let me know if you want to join that course or not. So you need to let me know with an email to me, and there will be registration for it. And anybody is welcome. But not until you register will we have a kind of like a group that will be more dedicated to and loyal to the study of that. So I'm going to give you all these details later, but I might as well tell you now. Let me know if you're interested in joining that class by sending me an email, because that alone will show me you are serious by registering, and then we will form a group, and then we will go forward with it. Okay? So I'm just making that announcement, and you will also see that in some emails and texts that I will be sending it to you. All right. I also would like to pay our condolences to Sri Virendra Singh's passing away. I just found that out from one of the students. And hope to go to his funeral tomorrow, but it's really sad to know that a student of Vedanta has given up this body. And on behalf of all of you, I offer our condolences to the family and also hope that his further quest continues, and Ishvara will bless him with answers that all of us are seeking. Hari Om. So, Anshri, the word Bhagavan, which means the same as Ishvara, there's no difference. So it's just a different way of describing. So Bhagavan means the one that has bhagas. The word Bhagavan, which means let me stop it. So, so there are 6 bhagas, which we have gone through, and I'll go through that again some other time, that enable a person to create, to sustain, and to manage a creation. And those 6 bhagas are true for human beings also, like knowledge, money, etc., dhairyam, ability to stay, etc. And so the word Bhagavan is simply one which has all these bhagas at the fullest level. So for example, one of them is what is called Aishwaryam. Aishwaryam means the ability to independently be the boss of something. It's called Aishwaryam. But in the case of human beings, all these bhagas are relative Aishwaryams, not total Aishwaryam. Like for example, if supposing you get an ant or some other kind of a bug in the kitchen, you are an Ishvara with respect to deciding whether to kill it, take it out, or leave it as it is. You have the Aishwaryam. But for other cases, I don't have the Aishwaryam. So that's one of the bhagas. But in the case of Bhagavan, he has total Aishwaryam. So the word Bhagavan really refers to the same Ishvara, the very creator. That's what it means. Okay, if there's no other questions, then I will take your leave, and we will see you. I'll have a kind of like an introductory video on Saturday the 23rd at 8:30 a.m., which will describe what we are going to do, the texts we are going to use, all of that. And then the main subject will start the following week on the 30th. Okay? All right.